And welcome back to Open Studio. I'm Steve Leahy. How are you guys doing? All right, right back at it. We did this little white building last time, and we're just going to kind of keep rocking on that. Or not that, but, kind of that, sort of that, whatever. I don't know, something. How's your Wednesday going, everyone? This episode, I did not think that I would get this up. I didn't think this was going to be a thing, but things are super crazy as usual here. And I think I mentioned it. I'm working on a really, really big painting. And that's, I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to get that done in time. And that does look like it's going to be finished in time now, which is great because it was scary there for a bit. Not that I didn't think I was going to get it done. Well, actually, yeah, I didn't know because it's a super involved painting. When you guys see this episode, it's that painting still won't be ready to be shown live for a few weeks. I want to get it. I want to have prints done of that painting, so it's going to go get photographed, and the prints are going to process is going to be started with that, and yeah. So it's so there's a lot going on with that, and but it'll be ready for if you're watching this live or in time. It'll be ready for Christmas time, 2024. The good news is the prints, if you're watching this well after the fact, the prints will always be available. So that's a lot of fun. That's going to be really good. It's a bigger painting for me. It's 16 by 20. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, it's time based that I needed to get that done. So yeah, so I've been really doing that. So long story, even longer. I've been kind of putting things on hold in the studio so I could get that done. And one of the things I was looking at putting on hold was the open studio for a week or two while I, made sure that I had enough time to get everything done. But again, the good news is I made great time on it, and yeah, so I think I'm gonna have it done on time without sacrificing too much of the other stuff, which is good. So it doesn't happen often, that things kind of not get jammed up in the studio, but I try to spread things out so that I'm not running into an issue where I have to stop one thing to keep another thing going, because I have done that, and it's usually a problem. It's usually a problem in that, sometimes things get put aside for a longer period of time than I planned. So I want to try to avoid that, and I certainly want to avoid that with, obviously with Open Studio, because I'm working on it with you guys. So that has to be done every week. But the other things too, like the live streams and the things that go on for that. There's painting that goes on for every live stream and all that. So I want to make sure that I had time for all that. So that was what was going on. So yeah, so good news is, like I said, I'll be able to keep this going. Let's see. So I'm basically just kind of filling in this little area right here. Let me move this over a little bit so you guys get a shot at it. There we go. Yeah, just finish up the details kind of in this little area here. Making sure I've got everything where it should be. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason at this point. I could just keep going up to the river, which is about off screen up here or up here. But I'll probably just track right up, across again, I think. Maybe. Something like that. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. All right. So that's that. This is the gray building there. That's that gray building. This, I don't know why that's like that. That should not be. This gray building here is good. Let me finish what's going on in front here a little bit, because it's dark and then there's some airbrushing on here. So we'll do all that. Yeah, what was I going to say? You just in general about the whole time management thing and projects. It's so cool, and I've mentioned this before. One of the biggest fears, if you've seen if you like Norman Rockwell, the 1940s painter, realistic painter, he did a lot with Saturday Evening Post and some great covers and all that. Really just an iconic mid-century American painter. And he had this great painting of an artist himself, a self-portrait of him in front of an easel with the Saturday Evening Post title and nothing else. Like it's that moment that you have when you just don't have something. You get that artist's block, or you don't know what to paint, or you don't know what to write, or you don't know where your next song is coming from. I've been fortunate to be blessed and cursed with not having that happen. So there's always more ideas than there are time to do them, and I'm really, really happy with that. A lot of that for me is just comes from, I'm just bouncing around this whole area right now. That a lot of that for me comes from the length of time that it takes me to do a painting. If I was very prolific, meaning, like I was always cranking out paintings, and I'm not talking about the 543s, more the longer paintings like this. If I was able to like bang out a painting every time I sat down, and I could see running out of ideas. I say that, but that also may not be true because, again, I don't know, because I've never had that experience of running out of an idea or not having an idea. But for me, there's so much time in each painting that it gives me plenty of time to get ready for the next one, to plan for the next one. Like I'll see something somewhere and I'll be like, oh yeah, I definitely want to do that. Or, that's a great topic or something like that. So that's a big thing for me. Just time in general is on my side as far as that goes. So I think that's a big part of it. And then the other thing too is I try to really stay, and I'm not saying I'm good at this, but I really try to stay up on what's going on. I always try to look to see what other artists are doing, and a lot of my inspiration comes from what artists are doing, because I see a technique or a style, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really cool. I would love to try to incorporate some of that in my work, and that will usually spark a painting or an idea for a painting. And again, I wish I could say I'm super good at it, but there's so many artists that I just don't, that I just don't, not follow, but there are so many artists that I should know that I don't. All right, so I have an issue here with this building here. This little guy right here is not correct. I have it just as a rectangular, just a big rectangular building, but it's not. These windows here, I don't know why, but they don't look like that. It looks like it has these two columns go straight up, and then this third column doesn't go all the way up. It's like shorter than the others. Now, I don't know if I missed it, but the first thing I do before I make a major change on a painting or building here is I make sure I'm looking at the right building, because we've been through that before and we don't want to go through that again. But no, there's a little courtyard. This is the white building next to it, the line and the dot. So this is the right building. I just have it wrong. So it's fine. I'm just going to knock out a few floors here. I think it's 3 floors altogether. But I won't knock out that last floor because that'll actually be the roof section. That makes more sense because now the roof is correct. See how the roof is just really small in this? And I'm like, wait, where did it go? And that opens up this little guy right here. So that's really all it took. It was an easy fix for what it was. Make sure, yeah, you guys are focused. I want to make sure that I didn't check to see if the focus was really focused. So I want to make sure that was good. All right, excellent. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. What else is going on here? Lots of stuff. Always lots of stuff. So yeah. I found the wood for this, the frame for this. I think I'm now leaning towards Japanese spruce, which is a very figured wood. So it means it's got a lot of knots in it and that kind of thing. which is usually not a good look for a small frame. You know, if you have big inclusions in a piece of wood for a small frame, it can take away from the painting. You know what I mean? I got a big knot right in the middle of like the front of the frame that's only like 6 by 8 inches. However, I think I can order a piece that's relatively clear and get a clear, you know, without get what I need out of it without the knots. So I found a place that sells it, and you can actually look at the piece you're buying online, which is great because I couldn't order it online unless I could see it. Because again, if I'm building like, you know, a cabinet or something, or if I don't care about the knots and things like that, then it doesn't really matter, you know, what the piece looks like. However, for me, it really does. So this place shows you, and it tells you about it too. So that's exciting. So as soon as I get things settled, probably in the next few weeks, I'll place the order for the wood, and that way I can get that started. I will include you all with that, but unlike the other episode, ooh, that's terrible. This paint is starting to get wonky. So instead of including you with every single like minute of putting it together, since I already did that with the Mustang painting, the Mustang blade painting, I'm just going to do one episode at the end for the framing of this, and it'll be edited, and you know, you won't see everything with the framing, but you'll still get all the details on how I put it together and all that fun stuff. And if you are curious on, you know, that type of thing, you can jump back and watch the Mustang painting. The last, you know, I think it might be just a single last episode with the Mustang painting, but it's a long episode, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep all these to a half an hour from now on, even the last one. So that's what we're gonna do, and I will, yeah, I'll you know, obviously you guys will see that last. It'll be good. It'll put it all together and it'll be ready to go, and I'm excited. Now that, again, you know, this painting's taken a long time. It's going to take a long time. So that's pretty far off when I'll actually have that. But yeah, at least I feel better now that I'm a little bit more lined up with what it's going to be. It's what I was sort of surprised about, I guess, is that, you know, how difficult it is for me to find, you know, like a specific hardwood. You would think, you know, I don't know. I even when I went back to Massachusetts, it was difficult to find, you know, like a Japanese hardwood. The place I usually go to, which is Woodcraft, they have a ton of stuff, but they just didn't have, you know, anything Japanese. It was all just you know, local stuff, I guess. Not really local because they do like this South American hardwoods there, but still standard hardwoods like rosewoods and things like that. So anyway, so I'm excited. Spruce, it is a spruce, so it's that kind of yellowy orangey color, which I think will still work really well with the sand that I have, or the stone that I have for the backdrop, and it'll play well with the softness of this whole painting being kind of, you know, in the dark, not in the dark, but in the fog, I meant. It's definitely not in the dark. A lot of talking today, a lot of talking. All right, so I'm going to break out the airbrush, and we're going to kind of connect the rest of the dots here. So I've done a lot of paintbrush work, and now I just need to ground a lot of these buildings. So we'll grab a little bit of reduced black, opaque black, and we'll start with our little white building here. I don't need to mask any of this, really. The roof on this little building that I just fixed, I probably should mask. But this paint flows so well, I'm not overly worried about it. So I'm just, again, the same deal. I'm just kind of just adding a little bit of black on the bottom of this building, kind of ground it out. And the same thing with the building in right above it here. Same thing, not a lot. I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of something to it, just to kind of accentuate that, you know, that feeling that one building is in front of another. This whole gray building in between, the one I just was kind of like tucking in, this whole thing is darker. So we're just going to kind of darken that up like that. Same thing with this building behind, a little bit of shadow underneath. I am pushing this little shadow a little bit more than it is in the reference photo. And again, that will give this painting a lot more pop, a lot more three-dimensionality than the photo has. I don't want to overdo it because then it'll look cartoony, but it does help quite a bit in adding a lot of depth in something that, you know, would normally be tough to show depth in, meaning these buildings are so small and so close together that you can't really get that feeling. All right, I'm going to slide you guys over because I can do all these buildings on the edge as well. Again, not going crazy here, just enough. Yeah, just enough to give it a little bit of, you know, separation, I guess, is what I'm looking for, the word I'm looking for. That up a little bit. And I've also mentioned this before too, you know, I do a lot of the paintbrush work and then I do all the airbrush work all at once. You know, it's easier than to break out the opposite, which would be to break out the airbrush every 5 seconds to do a little bit of this shading and then have to clean out the brush and do all this other stuff. So this way I get to do all that shading all at once, and that works really well. A little mint green building here. Again, this is really spraying very well, so I don't have to worry about the building, the roof of the buildings. If there was a bigger one, you know, that would probably help to block off, or if it was very like the white building here, and if I didn't think I could pull that off, then yeah, I would throw a little bit of mask on it, or use like a freehand shield or something to block it off. But in this case, we're doing pretty good. I got this other little guy down here that could probably use some right there. All right. A little bit of that, just a little bit, you know, nothing crazy. And then that's really good. I'm happy. A little bit more up on this guy. I know I'm bouncing you guys around a lot, but I want to keep you close. I want to keep the focus really in there so you guys can see what's going on. And I will try desperately to keep it on camera. I did find, I know I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about having some sort of laser box, you know, around well, you can't see it because it's off the screen, which is the idea. But if I had a little laser box around just outside camera view right here that I could leave set up so that I could see what was on camera. I did look it up, and they would be about $1,300 for something that would create shapes with a laser. And that's not what I want. I'll have to wait till, you know, lasers are super inexpensive before I can justify that. So, okay, who's next? Well, I guess we're going back across. So we'll jump back to here. This is going to present a problem with the reference photo. No, it isn't, because what I'll do is I'll put a new reference photo here, because your reference photo is equally as cropped. So I'm going to need to put up a new reference photo, but that's fine. All right. So let's kind of tuck in this area right here, or start this anyway, and then we'll move on to this same spot as we go next week. Yeah, but I like that. I like that because we've got about an inch covered now up to about here going left. So we'll just do this little block right here. All right, so start at the bottom and keep going. So what's going on here? This has got this building here. It's got green. It's got a bunch of other little things going on here. I wonder if I can get a copy of this. I'm thinking I can. I think it'll help out a little bit. Let's see what we got here. See what we got. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this one. Look at the thing here. That's the cutting mat. And we'll check it out. Check it out. So we are, where are we? I'm looking for this road, and there's the little building right there that we needed. Meaning this is the landmark building right here. It's a white building that I already painted. So all this little stuff in here is what I'm looking at. And I'm just going to start cutting it out. I'm not going to look at the painting. I could to really see what, what I've already got in there, but I know I don't have enough, and B, now that I'm focused on this area, I can really just cut out a lot of specific things that I know I wouldn't have cut out before. So I don't really even have to check it. Even if I double up, it's not going to be bad. So first we'll get this darker area done, and then whatever, sure you guys can see it. Here we go. Yeah. And then I'm just going to try to grab as many of these little bits as I can. Yeah. Being as accurate as possible, because again, this will act as my little roadmap. So where before I might cut this whole area out, which I'm sure I did, if I did. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking for like really dark areas in that bigger mass. And again, we're talking super tiny, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But again, if I get some of these details through here, it's really going to like just let me do the rest of it. I'll be able to figure it out from there. It's also really hard to cut out things like this, I mean, the resolution of this copier is, what it is. So I just got to kind of deal with it. But again, I have the tablets. So as long as I get an idea of some of these shapes, I'll be able to fill in the blanks. There we go. There's a little road here. I say it's a little road. It's probably not. It's probably like, a major road. I just changed my X-Acto blade too. It's always a good feeling, like, having a brand new blade, because especially cutting this paper, the tip doesn't last very long at all. So it's like it's like having a brand new razor. It shaves so well, the first couple times, and then after that, it's like not so good. So I don't know if I'm going to get this high on the painting yet, but might as well, since I've got it right here. I think that's all I'm going to be able to get out of this. So I'm going to do this little triangle over here, just in case. Again, it's just looking, not trying to figure things out here, just getting whatever shapes I can, and then I'll figure it out after. There's another little road that, I think this is a road right here that cuts across. But whatever it is, again, it's dark and it's a little bit longer, so I'm going to grab it. There's a lot of detail. I think this is a street, and these are small little buildings, or entryways right in front. So I'll zoom in on that later. We want to get the main shape in. That's good. And just for fun, yeah, why not? I don't know what this is. It's the side of this building, I guess. I may not have that right, but at least I have it. And then just, again, because I'm sitting here and I can do it, I'll just grab whatever this is right here too. This will get me into the next section. And again, this is just me, like I could do this all over this cutout, cut out all these micro details and put in all this stuff all over the painting. If I wanted to sit here for, an hour or two and just cut out everything across the entire thing, But I don't like working like that. Like I said, you can. It's not, I don't think it has that much, of a problem overall. But for me, I get not bored, but, I get complacent with doing one thing over and over and over again, especially on something like this that's just so intense that I need to break it up. I can't just sit there and cut for 3 hours. I need to paint for a little bit, or I need to, you know, even painting, I need to use a paintbrush for a little bit, and then I need to use the airbrush for a little bit, and then I need to, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of bouncing around, but that keeps me from, you know, going completely insane, just mildly insane. So here's what we did. That's what we cut out. So I do this a lot of times too on the smaller cuts so I can make sure that I got them cut out. Just kind of clear them out a little bit, make sure nothing's hanging. And we are good. I have the reduced black in there right now, which will do the job. Again, I'm not looking for like crazy coverage. I'm just looking to get everything in where it should be. And yeah, I do have a lot of this stuff already, which is great. It's fine. Everything's fine. Check the top side, and that looks good. Sure I'm on that building correctly, and I am. Okay, good. Yeah, so as you look through this, there's a little bit of a misalignment, you know, here and here, but whatever. It's going to be fine. But I do see a lot of the black, you know, like here, here, and here. I did get all those in already, which is fine. So we have about 4 minutes left. So I don't want to get too far. I mean, we'll just stop whenever, but and then just pick it up where we left off. So again, I have the real reduced black in here. Instead of changing it out and putting a more opaque black, which would work quicker, I'm just going to use this, and I'm just going to go over it, but really light coats over and over again to get it really dark. And this I can get to saturation, but it's going to take a lot more passes, a lot more light layers. If I really try to hammer this, it's just going to spider web everywhere, and I don't want to have to do that, because then obviously I'll have to fix a bunch of stuff underneath here. So real light layers, just do one section and then move on to the other section. Light layers on that, and then as I'm bouncing around, the first layers are drying off. The first sections I did are drying off rather. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Now, hopefully when I pull this, it's going to give me a lot more information in that area. Yes, yeah, there's a good example. So see the little, like this building up here? I hit that too hard. See those little blobbies that are coming off of this? That's the spider webbing that I'm talking about. It's not a big deal. It would have been a big deal if that spider web happened on one of the buildings that I've already finished. There, it doesn't matter because I still got to paint all that. But you know, you try to avoid it as much as possible, I guess. All right, let's see what I got here. So we got some green. Let's do a little bit more. We got about 2 minutes left. So we'll start with that green. If we get that green in, that'll be a good place to, why'd I do that? I know that white is all janky. And what happens again with the wet palette is as the paint drop sits there, it draws water up from the foam underneath, which it's supposed to. But the binders and everything in the paint are kind of kicking off, and they're being replaced with water. So after a while, it could just get, the paint droplet gets very watery and it's unusable. So I know that white is like that, and I grabbed it anyway. Alrighty. Anywho, this little triangular building's got the green. This isn't going to be enough. Yeah, this green's janky too. Hey. I may have to just do it with like a really pale green and then tint it a little bit darker. So there's that. Oh, I got to make sure I have my copy nearby because I don't want to do these bigger than they really should be. I know we're almost there. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, there they are. Okay, so it's that one, and I'm going to put them right next to one another, and then we'll separate them after. All right, so we get the green in. I got a bunch of that stuff in. So let's call it here since we're just about at 30 minutes. The time flies so quick. All right, so here's the whole painting. This is what it looks like so far. Everything's rolling. Again, thank you so much for hitting that like and subscribe, and thank you to everyone who's hanging out live at the premiere. We do these premieres every Wednesday night, so the new episode is a premiere, so you get to kind of hang out and we can chat about it live. And if you'd like to support what we do here, again, the free way is like and subscribe. And then, of course, if you want to be a member here, you get special perks like early access to the time-lapse every week. You get a discount on the website all the time, and all kinds of fun stuff. You can also join me over on Patreon. So thanks so much for joining me tonight, you guys. You guys are the best. And I will catch you guys next week. Have a good one.